to mess up the button, so I try to stay away from it because I'm famous for clicking on something and Linda's like, oh my God. So I'm going to keep my hands off of the laptop.
All right. So we are recording, and I just want to say a formal welcome to Top Tips to Becoming a Professional Speaker, and even just a better speaker for those of you who don't have a giant desire to get on big stages, but maybe just want to be more confident in front of your coworkers, or your community halls or your churches or wherever you have to perhaps
I don't even know why we call it top tips. Some tips.
Yeah. We're going to throw out some tips.
We're going to,
as many as we possibly can over the next hour.
Totally. Yeah. So anyways, welcome everybody who's here live, pajamas or otherwise. And hello to you who are watching the recording later, which again, I want to just acknowledge because I often sign up for things and then I forget to watch the recording. So if you're actually watching this right now as a recording, yay you.
Yeah, good for you. Just before we get rolling, for those of you who don't know us, my name is Linda Edgecombe.
I'm Beth Hanishewski.
And we've been collaborating on programs for now most of the past 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
And literally live on the same street, very close to each other. So it's like, are we recording at your house today or my house? Anyway, but have really, really enjoyed the last number of years collaborating on a variety of programs, and this Speakers Academy being one of them. This is the 3rd time we will have run it.
Yep.
But I wanted you to understand sort of like, why us? Like, why are we doing this? I don't know how to do that.
Remember? Oh, sorry. We're just going to ask everyone to mute if you can. And if not, let's go there.
But
Manage
participants. Oh, now I have to manage
you. We're just going to mute you.
All right.
That way
Forgive us.
Sorry. We're muting you, but we'll unmute you when you want to ask questions.
It's only temporary.
Welcome if you, okay. Anyways, who are we? So who are you?
I'm Linda Edgecombe. I'm a certified speaking professional. That's a designation within the North American, actually the international speaker community now. I'm also in the Hall of Fame, the Speaker Hall of Fame, and
definitely certifiable.
And have been on stages for most of the last 27 plus years, delivering majority keynoting and breakout workshops. And have spoken across North America. I have a visa to work in the US and have spoken in Australia, Singapore, New Zealand, Nepal. And I make a full-time living writing, speaking. I've published a number of books. And it's a big, you can go on my website, lindaedgecombe.com, and just sort of see all the stuff that, just so you can say,
she's all that. She's all that in a bag.
Does she know what she's talking about? I'm all that in a bag of chips. But I mean, truthfully, I love, capital L, love this business. I love talking about this business. And I am in I'm a Leo. I love being on stage and have really worked hard through my career to create an ongoing train that's running down the tracks. Right.
Excellent. So my story is slightly different. I'm actually come from a coaching background. So I started been coaching and been in human services and helping people, really just helping people from all walks of life for many, many years. And as I started coaching back in 2003, some of my clients that I work with privately started to ask me to come and train their teams. Could you come and do that? Could you teach what we're doing in a private coaching session on a stage? And I'm like, well, I guess so. And so I really became an accidental speaker. I wasn't like, oh, I want to be a speaker. I just started speaking. And it was really from my clients. And I realized, like Linda, it was so fun. I just loved it. And I love the idea of, coaching I love because it's one-on-one and it's intimate and you can really, create amazing transformation for people in just an hour with a call. But when you're speaking to an audience, it's one to many. And that really excited me. And so I started really, walking alongside Linda and picking her brain anytime I could about, how do you do this? And how do you become a speaker and what kind of thing? And really started to hone my craft and really started to really build my skills because I was really just kind of doing it organically and I wanted to be better. And so, so that's kind of how my journey, and I too have spoken in the US, Australia, but I spend most of my time speaking in Canada. My goal this year is actually to speak in every province and territory in Canada. So that's my goal. Anyways, and so we both, we get asked all the time, how do you become a speaker? How do you do a keynote? How do you create a presentation? We get asked that all the time. So finally, after years, we just said, let's just do a course and combine our speaking experience, our coaching experience of helping mentoring people, and just putting it into a course. So we really just love it. So even if you don't carry on and do the Speaker Academy with us this spring, we hope that if you came to this call with a really specific question about speaking or anything you wanted to ask us, we want to answer that. So we want to really give lots of value. So that's our big agenda. There you go.
Not so hidden agenda.
Yep.
We want to work on and share with you some real truths about speaking and debunk some of the myths, because there are lots of those. Share with you about our upcoming academy, which we hope you'll consider taking, but where we'll dive deeper into all of this. And we have some of our graduates on the call today who can speak to, what they learned, and we'll get to that. And we just want to give you some real value for the next 45 minutes with us. And get to some questions that you want to ask us. So if you can think, so what is the one thing, and try and make it real specific. What is the one thing you want to get out of this call? And I want you to type that in the into the chat box. Beth is making notes. We are going to
bring the chat back.
You betcha. Yep. We are going to get to all of these, as many as we possibly can, and I'll just say that if we
what's
don't,
your question?
What's your question?
Or I really want to know this, or I want to know.
What will make this 45 minutes highly valuable to you, that you walk away with something that's a burning question for you right now. So
how to make stories more engaging. Okay, great.
So we're going to make some notes on that one.
Yeah, love it. Okay. Yeah, we definitely want to talk about stories, because stories is such an important part of speaking, and in fact, essential. It's essential.
It's essential.
We have a whole module on storytelling in the academy, because we think it's so important. So thank you, Roberta, for that question. Okay, don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Just because this is your chance to get what you want. And I think, sometimes when we sign up for these webinars, we can, and I certainly have done this. I'm really passive, and I just sort of sit back and I listen, or I fold my laundry while I'm doing it. And we really want to encourage you to go, what if I could ask Linda and Beth any question, what would that be? And it doesn't have to be about speaking, but whatever. Okay, what's a critical difference that has been taken into account when speaking to large groups versus small ones?
Keeping engaged. Great question.
Okay.
Large versus small, can talk about that one, and keep it engaging. And that's a very good, great question.
Okay, and how to get onto the radar of groups seeking speakers.
Yep.
So that's basically how to get booked.
Yep.
Okay.
Know that one.
Love it. Getting over, but I'm But who wants to listen to me? Oh, I love that question.
Where you got that on this call?
How to simplify my message.
That's the whole purpose of the academy.
Okay, but we're going to give you some tips today, even if you don't take it.
Yeah.
Who wants to listen to me? Oh, I love these. Okay.
The
private message.
Earn the right.
Nope. Oh, okay. She just sent it privately. Okay.
I know there's 17 of you on this call right now. We have 40 people who'll be listening. So ask,
please. Do you just fall into what you speak about, or do you get asked to speak on specific topics? Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Specific topic
versus
organic. Okay.
Yes and yes.
Yeah. There's our short answer.
We'll get to that.
Anybody else? This is your chance. And if you think of one as we go, feel free to pop it in there. But
because we're gonna.
How do others become aware that you're a speaker? So marketing. That's really about marketing. How do you get the word out that I am
some breathing techniques to calm yourself down during and middle of presentation when you find your nerves coming through the middle of your speech? Yeah.
Calming nerves.
I was going to say I have an essential oil blend here. It's called.
Oh, I love that blend, by the way. I keep needing to text you that. You could at night.
I actually swear I call it. Calm the blank down.
Tips on how to add humor. Oh, I'm sorry. We can't.
No, no idea about that one.
Adding humor.
Yeah.
Which we're just going to say off the bat, if you can, essential. It's so important, and not necessarily comedy. So we'll get to that when we talk about how important humor is.
Okay, so let's get rolling. Keep asking, please, and we will keep this. Yeah. So
that's 9 questions already. So yay, thank you.
Lots. So let's start. I gotta get here. There we go. A few myths and facts, and there are lots of them. We're just going to give you a couple of them, and because we will spend the majority of our time with you answering the questions you just asked us, because those are
that's our goal.
Trying to make this as valuable as you possibly can.
We can sometimes overtalk.
So yes, we
both
do.
of us, a bit over talkers. Okay, myth number 1.
All you need is a powerful story, and a lot of us, that goes to one of the questions. Does it come organically to you, or do people ask for certain kind of content? A lot of people go to speaking. A lot of women that we've worked with in the last couple of years have come to the idea of, I want to speak about, because they keep getting asked, can you tell your story? Can you tell your story? Just worked with a young lady here in the Okanagan over the last month. Her name is Amal, and she's a young woman who came from Saudi Arabia. She does have an incredible story, and she has worked that story into what is return on investment. So you can have a powerful story, but you actually need to make that relevant for the audience that's listening to you.
Yeah. So it's not enough just to have overcome some crazy adversity or done some incredible feat, whether it's some Olympic thing, or you hiked every mountain in the Himalayas, or you overcame tragedy, because almost everybody has some kind of story. Whether it's a redemption story, a tragedy story, wounded story, or a incredible achievement. We all have them. So what you need to do, and what we help you do it, but think about, if you're thinking, I have this story, try to think, as Linda said, how can I use this? What would be a message I can weave around what I learned from that story? That's really the most important thing. Is it's not just that, like, a universal message, but what's the universal message that you can apply because of this thing that happened to you or that you achieved. It's always about relevance.
And by the way, if you are like myself, when I started speaking, my husband made a joke about the fact I didn't have any quan, which comes out of the Jerry Maguire movie, but I didn't have a thing. I hadn't climbed a mountain. I just got married. I hadn't had children. I did have a degree.
Yeah.
Big whoop. But I'm thinking I was 30 years old.
You have to have some life experience.
But the thing is, we will help you also craft messages that will relate to the audience out of the small stories that we think. For those of us going, well, I haven't really done anything yet. No, you do. We all have experiences and stories, and that will be the kickoff, certainly in the Academy, of starting to hone in all the things that have happened to you as you benchmark yourself through your life.
Yep.
Because there's lots of people, when you get to a platform or a stage, that will relate to the small stuff. Not everybody relates to the, I've climbed Kilimanjaro, but that's great. Mm-hmm. So just know that, yes, you may have a powerful story, but you also have a lot of human stories.
Right.
Day-to-day stories. And those are...
and frankly, I think sometimes the little stories are what people remember, even as much as the big stories. Like I was just saying I keep recanting. Is that the right? Recanting? Recalling? Telling. I keep retelling. I just saw Jim Cuddy last week or 2 weeks ago, and he told this really beautiful, poignant, funny story about why he wrote this certain song. And it's just this obscure little drunken night he had with his friends. And that story is stuck in my head. Like, it's this little thing, but he attached the meaning to it. And now I can't stop telling that story.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing you want your audiences to be doing, is still telling your stories long after you've left
So they
the
have
stage.
To see themselves in the story. So that's what the part about that we say here, is it relevant? And so just know that not just a big story is the thing. It's got to be relevant. Number 2, good old Wanda Sykes. Oh, I'm a big fan. Do you have to be a funny speaker to be a great speaker? And we got on the bottom, the best speakers are the most authentic speakers. So she does.
No,
the answer is no, you don't have to be.
No, you don't have to.
There are some extremely effective, highly booked, successful, poignant. You probably have some bosses who are great speakers, and maybe they
aren't funny at
all. Right? you know, and you, if you're worried, oh gosh, I don't have that much of a sense of humor. It came to me very easily. I do have an off the wall sense of humor.
But that's why it's authentic. So people understand that when Linda's on the stage, she's not pretending to be funny. She actually is really funny. That's her. She has this, you know, wacky way of seeing the world.
Yeah.
The way you notice things, the little funny, quirky stuff, you will extrapolate that from your everyday.
I will milk it for all it's worth.
And you're really great. She's so, I mean, if you've ever seen Linda speak, I mean, she's hysterical. She's hysterical.
But you don't have to be, is what we're trying to say.
You don't.
There are ways you can add humor if you yourself don't find yourself just, you know, bantering about like I do, but there's lots of ways to add humor.
Yeah. And if you look at the, you know, like the top 10 TED Talks of all time, if you literally go look at them, they're not funny. They're not all funny.
They might have 1 or 2 lines in the whole thing.
They are good at lightening up
yeah.
when there's tension, which is, again, a skill we teach.
Set, yeah.
We'll teach you how to lighten up tension and create tension. And that's where humor and lightness can come into play, but you do not have to be a comedian. So if you're on this call and you're going, oh my gosh, I have to be like the funniest person on the planet to get booked, you don't.
Okay. While I'm going to the next one, just there's a great question there. Just make a note of that one. All right. Number 3. What does it say?
The hardest part of speaking is getting booked.
So
yeah, it's not. That's actually quite easy. It's quite easy to get booked. Lots of people are like, how do you get booked? How do you get booked? And, you know, we will do a whole thing. We're doing actually a bonus module about marketing and getting booked.
Yeah.
And what ways to get yourself on stages. And in fact, in our course, you can win a spot to speak on stage. That's a way to get booked as well. But we think the hardest part is actually getting rebooked.
Right.
Because anybody can open a door for you. Lots of people can say, oh, we'll give you one chance. Here, I got an event. We need a speaker, and it'll be your big break, so to speak, right? It's a big audience or very influential audience, or a great corporation that's looking for, you know.
The mindset, if you never see us again, the mindset I just implore you to have, I don't know why I had it since the get-go.
Yeah.
I must have read a book somewhere, but I've always had the mindset for 27 years. Every time I get on stage, I want 2 more bookings out of this event.
Yeah.
And I've never really done anything formal to, well, I do now, but I mean, in the beginning, I just had the mindset I wanted to be as great as I could have been that day on that stage, so that 2 more people in that audience would book me. And that is literally how I've unfolded my business over the years. I kind of have a follow-up routine that I do now that's more formalized, but in the beginning.
Yeah, which we're going to share, of course. But even if you don't, like, I had an event I spoke at once, and it was for free or almost nothing. Like, it was a little nonprofit
Here,
event.
have coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And as a result of that engagement, I got 5 bookings because of people in the audience. So that's the kind of thing you want to think about is just, no matter what crowd you're in front of, you want to wow them.
Yeah. In this business,
that's how you get rebooked.
95+% of all of your business is going to come from referral.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come from someone saying, oh, I just saw so-and-so at my Rotary, at the rec center, at my church. Oh my gosh, you got to bring them in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally marketing.
So don't think, how do I get booked? Think, how do I get rebooked?
Yeah.
How do I get awesome?
How do I get really good so I can get rebooked?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's only a few things that you need to master that we will also work on, which is
just
part
2
of
things.
That's it. Part of the questions that came up will be answered in this. So we have an outer game as a speaker. So what is our outer game? Our outer game is the image that we bring. It's the brand that we create.
Yeah.
It's the programs that we offer. It's the topic, the content. It's the lane.
What do you even call your talk?
Yep. It's the, we call it picking a lane. What area do you want to be known as an expert in? Mm-hmm. From accounting to aerobics,
making,
to anything. So all of that is an outer game. It's how you prepare yourself for a presentation. It's whether you have memorized it. Please don't memorize them. You kind of want, anyways, you don't want it to feel like it's.
Oh, and in the structure, right?
Yeah,
the structure of the talk, which we, we'll
the blueprint we will use to help you pull your
any talk.
presentation together. how you sleep the night before you speak, what you eat or don't eat, what you drink or don't drink before you speak. And believe me, this is all outer game stuff.
Yeah.
How you have communicated with the person who has booked you.
How you follow up.
How you make sure that the stage is set for you because it's your deal. Because you'll often you'll wind up someplace to speak and the AV that they said they would have isn't there or whatever. So you just do the checklist of the outer game, let alone prepare the program, the marketing of the program, whether you have headshots. Anyway, all of that is the outer game.
Which actually is pretty systemized. It's all really systems. It's actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
As long as you follow the systems.
Yeah.
The harder one is
this
game
one.
number 2.
Yeah.
It's the inner game.
It's the inner game.
Which, by the way, we're still working.
We all are.
We all are.
I don't care who you are. I speak to colleagues who I've been friends with for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I said,
still get nervous.
I said to Beth this morning, I speak on Saturday. I haven't spoken since the beginning of December. So to me, that's a long time, right? It's a month and a half. And I'm a little nervous. At 30 years in, right? So we want to, for you, I want to think about, how strong is my outer game? How strong is my inner game? And the inner game is like the things like that. What's your self-talk? What's your mindset? What's your, do you have any limiting beliefs? Do you have any self-sabotage? Do you have any self-doubt? Do you have any, bad nerves? Someone asked about like, what, like you're freaking out before this presentation or right in the middle of it. All of a sudden you go blank and you can't remember what you were going to say, or your slide doesn't make sense to you, or the AV craps out and you, or your audience stands there and they look like they're like flatlining, as you're talking, and you're like, oh my God, I'm killing my audience as we, So the one
how
question
do you
about the
manage
calm?
that, right? How do you stay calm? How do you manage your nerves? How do you, all of that? We're going to give you some tips today.
Yeah. But
really there's a whole lot of things. And this is where, often I'll draw on, we draw on our, coaching skills around that, because inner game is as important, is as critical, and way harder than the outer game to master. But it's really about committing to doing that work.
Yep.
But that's it.
It is
outer and inner game.
Yep.
That's really the life formula for anything, really.
And we're highly passionate about this as well.
Yeah.
But the truth is that speaking is a skill set that anybody can learn. I mean, honest to goodness. And when I first started, this is literally me. Like my boss, I think I was giving presentations with community centers in Edmonton, and my boss said, Linda, just put the paper down.
The rec center, like you're going to be doing the rec people tomorrow or Saturday.
So the truth is, it just is a skill that takes practice, but I'll tell you, it is one of the most powerful skill sets you could work on, regardless whether you do this as a profession. Mm-hmm. The ability to just say a few words that are clear, concise, have meaning and impact for your careers.
Yeah. Whether
you ever take the stage and get paid to do this or not, is just a skill set that takes practice, and just believe me, I've seen everybody and anybody just really hone the craft. It's just such a beautiful transition.
Well, and I wanted to say that, there are people that I think are naturally born speakers that are, love to, like I said, the Leo, like just love to be on stages and are one of in the rare percentages that don't freak out if they're asked to public speak. They're like, oh, give me a mic, There's three people who I would say are natural speakers, but even those people, myself included, that love it, still need to learn the skill set. There's still stuff you need to know. Otherwise anybody can become a mediocre or crappy speaker, but we actually believe that if you want to become a great one, natural or otherwise, you just need to kind of master some of those skills. And, we saw some people master some amazing skills in like literally 6 weeks. Yeah. Which a couple of them are on the call today, and they can talk about what their journey was like. So,
what, and I'll just say one more thing and then we'll move on to the next slide. But I'm extremely comfortable on stage.
Yeah.
I'm extremely comfortable.
You're one of the natural people.
I don't know if I am. Like I was going to say, I don't know if I am, because
really,
yeah, I'm comfortable. I am comfortable in the performance part of it. Where I really get nervous, and we've all been to business networking workshop or session.
Yeah.
Can you go around the room and introduce yourself?
Oh, I don't like doing that.
I hate that.
That's different. That's networking.
That doesn't come that easy for me.
But that's not a speaking thing.
Well, it kind of is. Anyways,
we're going to fight about that later.
Yeah, that's an inner game thing. But
yeah, that's interesting though. That's interesting though.
But here's the key.
Because I think we're ambiverts at heart, because people think we're all extroverted.
Yeah, no.
I think that's part of the ambivert thing. You want it. There's some alone. They're like, there's certain
which means we are as introverted as we are extroverted. So you know what? You do not have to be an extrovert to be a speaker.
No.
You can definitely there's lots of introverts who are speakers.
And excellent speakers.
Excellent speakers.
In fact, like go watch Bill Gates.
Yeah.
TED Talk.
Yeah.
Excellent. He's not funny, but he's so engaging, total introvert, total, intellect, and amazing.
Yeah.
So
key here is that honestly, we just have to be willing to do the, pardon me, I was going to say effing work. That's a girlfriend of mine. She's a speaker out of Calgary. That's her whole brand is do the effing work.
Yeah.
We have to do the work. So if you're keen, if you've got a desire, something's burning and churning in you, I'm telling you, if you're willing, we'll tell you everything and anything we've ever learned. Get you in touch with whoever. I mean, honestly, that's what we do as in this business of being a speaker. We will tell you every tip and secret we have ever learned. And I would say short of holding your hand and taking you on stage and giving the presentation for you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Sandy asked a question. Elevator pitch is a type of speech?
Question mark?
It's not really a speech, but it is an important thing to be able to speak what you do.
What do you do? Right? And you want to speak? By the way, I'm going off script. And you want to be able to we've kind of, to be honest with you,
where's the script?
Elevator speeches, I don't know. We don't even call them that anymore. What you want to do is if someone asks you a question, so what do? You answer in a way that they say, well, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. That's all you want.
Yes. You want them to say,
ask more questions.
So it's not really a speech. But it is important that
inspire adults to make changes.
No, it's not. Yeah, those are kind of the old ways of talking about your business, where people they just glaze over. They know you're trying to sell them your product. Where I typically ask questions, or I'll tell a story. Like how some couples are married for a long time and then they start struggling, and then they don't know if they should stay together or not. I speak about that.
Yeah,
they're like, we do, right? Like that's kind of thing. Versus I help couples transform their Wow. Anyways, more on that later.
I guess we're opinionated about that one. All right. So yes, if you're willing to do the work, we want to work with you. So we have, we're just going to tell you a little bit about the Academy, and then we're going to answer all the questions. So we are hosting our Spring Academy. It starts in February.
Yeah, I think the 20th.
The 20th of February.
We have to wait till Lynn got back from Costa Rica.
Sorry.
What can we do?
Yeah. Maybe I know. I'm sorry.
It's excellent. No, I'm happy. I'm happy. Anyways, so it starts in February and it runs all the way to the end of middle of April. And of course it butts right up to the WOW, because we of course
we take a break during spring break because people have families and things to do.
Yeah. We partner, of course, we call it the WOW Speaker Academy, because we partner with our beautiful friend and colleague Christine Aurum, who hosts the Women of Worth conference every year at Sparkling Hills. So we thought, well, what better than to bring our speakers to Sparkling Hills. We do a little mini workshop, the day before the WOW conference. If you are planning to go to that, it's totally optional. But we in the Academy, we run a contest where we actually have you create a piece, whether it's going to be your keynote or just something to practice with. It's up to you. And we get them to create a piece. And from that piece, we pick a winner. We do a little contest for people who really want to get on a stage. And the WOW is like, who would want to be in front of 200 plus women
of influence
of influence, and some really amazing women attend WOW every year and look forward to those speakers. Anyways, and so we'll put a few of our graduates up on stage.
So whether you aspire to speak to 6 or to 6,000, we want to help you create a blueprint for yourself that you can work through, practice with, in a container, meaning within us, we're a small group. We will have no more than 20 participants in the Academy.
Yep.
And we do a lot of, we get into our own private Facebook group, and we do a lot of sharing, a lot of feedback. It's It's encouraging. It's, I mean, honestly, I said, I didn't think, and this is,
I begged her. I begged her to do this for like so many years. I'm like, we should do a speaker academy. So many people ask us about mentoring them. And she's like, who would want to do that?
Yeah. And I honestly, it was the best thing I did for myself professionally last year. I was so encouraged by how everybody showed up, how the ladies showed up, and just the work they did and how great they got. And it was just like, I just felt like like a proud mom. It was just like so awesome.
It was amazing.
So if this, if you have a desire to or an inkling or,
like I've always wanted to try this, or maybe you want to do it as a business thing. You're like, I could use some second income. Let's be honest. It's a great second income. If you have written a book, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you run a business and you're like,
a blog,
you've had some success, you have something you want to talk about. It's a great secondary income. There's some
primary income
if that's what you want to do. So anyways, let's talk about just how it works. So of course, there's people from all over the world that can take this course. Actually, we actually have someone already registered who's from the US. So welcome you. I know I think she's on the call as well. But anyways, you don't have to come to us other than if you want to come to the bonus live workshop. You can just sit in your comfort of your home, just like today, in your pajamas or otherwise. It doesn't matter. We're just going to coach you through 6 primary modules. Plus we're going to do a bonus marketing module for people who really want to know how to get booked, that want to really kind of get on stage this year. So we're going to do that. And of course, we're just going to help you create a template that you can use for any request, whether it's a business meeting, a presentation, a eulogy, a bar mitzvah, a keynote, anything. You're going to be able to use this template, and we'll
a marriage, divorce, exit strategy.
Kidding. Bonus. We could throw that in. Do love to talk about relationships, as you know.
Conscious uncoupling.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, that's what it all is. It's this whole big online. We do live calls every Thursday, just this exact time at noon. If you can't be on the call live, you can email us a question, and of course, we send you all the recordings. So everything is in one place.
Yep. And just as it says here, a formula to take you from fee to fee. It's actually from free to fee, but
oopsie daisy.
That's okay. Oopsie. Yeah. I spell words wrong all the time. Plus,
look at me, fancy. This is
the Sparkling Hills workshop is part of this program.
Learned how to add animation to the slides.
She's very excited. Watch, the next one's going to slide up. There you go.
Look what I did.
Wow.
Look at me growing.
Yep.
Linda used to only be able to do that. Now I learned it.
She learned it. A chance to win a spot on the stage at WOW, and I believe we have 3 spots for that.
Yeah.
And
we didn't know Treva was going to be on the call. So
Treva,
let's unmute you, and because we had your testimonial, and we want to hear from you. So
you're still on the call,
can
Treva,
you unmute Treva if she's still here?
Manage participants.
Or did she leave us to
she
go
might
make
have
pasta, run a restaurant? Oh no, she's right there. Treva, we're going to unmute you. Say hi. Are you there?
Okay, I think. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi.
Okay. Hi.
So glad to see your face.
I know. I miss you guys.
Yeah. So Treva, we are so glad that you could join us today and just sort of, again, we just want to see your face and get all your recipes. But can you just give us a little snapshot for everyone here on the call, and just kind of give us a snapshot. Okay, what made you take this course? And what did you get out of that? What did you get out of the Speaker Academy?
It's really evolved even more since the last year. But when I first got into it, it was something that I do a lot of community work, and I'm asked to talk and do things. And it was like, I always did it, but I always didn't do very well. So this has kind of taught me how to be able to have a subject, how to promote it, how to talk to them about what's going on in that piece of the community. Yeah. The best part was meeting you. Both of you are so much fun. Trish, it was you, all of the girls, such a great connection. And then what it's helped me now is I've opened the second restaurant, and I'm doing a lot of videos. We're doing a new marketing campaign. So I'm much more comfortable at what I'm doing. Being in front of a camera, being in front of the videos, what we were doing when we were working on our own videos, on our own speeches, that's really helped me go into promoting, marketing, branding hugely this year. And like I said, we've got a huge marketing campaign coming out, and I'm not, nervous. I'm excited. It's like, yeah, I've got to put my face out there. I have to brand. I have to be that culture. And this has really helped me take that step to going, oh, no, put somebody else, do this. No, it's about me.
Nice. Oh my God.
Wow,
that is so great.
On all that.
Congratulations to all of that. And we just can't say enough about how proud we were of watching your journey in the Academy, right to you were one of our winners, and came with really, really great shoes.
Yes.
So shoes.
The whole video thing is something that we do from the get-go, and we will give you some tips on how to video yourself more effectively, which for many of you who are entrepreneurs on this call know that is a key to creating a brand. And all of us have had to get better on video and have a conversation, and it doesn't have to be crazy rehearsed, even though there's a process to it, and the more you do it, the better you get.
Exactly. So thank
all right.
you, Dreama.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Where's Trish?
Where's our Trish? Okay, you got to unmute Trish. So Trish was another one of our winners that applied to. Did you get her, Trish? Where? Oh, you had her. Trish.
Hello.
There you are. Hi, Trish.
Hi.
Nice to see your face.
Great to see both of you.
You were again one of our winners that put together a little keynote that won a spot to speak. So can you tell us, kind of like we did with Trivia, like what made you sign up for this, and what was your biggest takeaway from the Academy?
Well, unlike Triva, I didn't have a business going and was speaking all over the community, and I was basically in the corporate world, working in an office, and I just wanted to improve my speaking and look at a new career. And that's why I signed up. I literally just retired at the end of December from the corporate world, and am launching my own business. And part of that is speaking. And thanks to you guys.
Yes. So, so what would you say is your biggest takeaway from the course?
I think the biggest takeaway is, for me, was to learn the process, to develop the process and hone those skills. Mm-hmm. And, each week we did the call, and then you would give us our heart work. And it was great because you not only did you meet with the other girls online and with yourselves, but you also got to go over what was needed in each one. It was really relevant information that you provided. You gave us exercises to make sure that we understood the information, and then it was all developed into our own presentation. Like, it was just incredible, the amount of information you both provided and how you did it just seemed to click.
Awesome.
Perfect. Wow, we're so happy and excited to see you in your third act.
And you've launched a virtual assistant business too, haven't you?
Pardon me?
Haven't you launched a virtual assistant?
Yes, I have. I've got the two. I'm doing the speaking and then a virtual assistant.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, more on.
Well, I didn't want to be bored.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, okay. So thank you, ladies. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Feedback. So here's if for any of you who are interested in signing up for the spring, starting in February, Speaker Academy, this is what your investment looks like. Our full cost for the program is $14.97. We have an early bird discount going for another week of minus $500, which makes it $9.97. Well, if somebody requires, it's at theliverevolution.com/livespeakeracademy. We will send you all the link for this today as well. And some of our...
I can put it right into the chat.
Okay, sure. Wonderful. That's a great idea. Some of our members in the Academy, if a payment plan is something that would be very helpful for you, then let us know that, and we will set that up for you. Just email us directly for that for that feature, because if you go to the Academy, you want to go to the Academy, look at the content. But if you're interested in doing a payment plan, then send us an email. And you can do that right off the site as well. And we'll get that set up for you. What else do I want to share about that? Okay, let's get to the one thing. Okay.
I didn't write down who wrote which question. So we're just going to fly through these, whoever asked them. So question was, how do you make stories more engaging?
Well, so the one thing you're going to want to do is get yourself a journal and start jotting down, maybe just do a bit of a timing, and you can think about your childhood, maybe your teen years, and just go through like, what are things that have happened in your life? Do a bit of a life map. And engagement to me in a story is like, I'm a big believer in not telling anybody else's story but your own. Like, don't on stage and go, oh, I heard so-and-so. I mean, you might quote somebody, but I won't tell their story. I'll tell my own stories and I'll embellish them. So there's no such thing as lying, but you might want to overamp it a bit.
Yeah. So fish story is okay.
Well, I just sort of make it seem maybe even bigger than it actually was.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if we really need to say more about that, other than, we talk about a whole module on storytelling. So if you join us, we're going to help you pull out the best stories for your topic.
True. But
just think about that anyways.
But one thing about engagement, which is critical, and every client these days say, how engaging is this person? Does this person interact with the audience? Or are we just like fire hosing information to them?
Yeah.
So you're telling a story, I don't know about what, children, you say, hey, by raising, so who has kids? That's how you engage in a story. And then you get into talking about your kids, and then you tell the point of that story. And then, so there's definitely ways to engage.
Which is really question number 2, which is perfect, because, there's lots of ways to create engagement around, like,
this is large versus small.
Yeah. So, but really the large versus small, you really use the same sort of skills, actually, no matter what, whether it's, 1,500, the only thing you don't do maybe is get them to move and find partners in a 1,500 audience. But you always are going to be doing things that create multisensory, that are for the kinesthetic learners, from the visual, for the audio. There's lots of ways. But as Linda just said, a simple question where you get them to even raise their hand. How, in a rolling question, how many people have kids? How many people have been around kids? So then all of a sudden everybody, the whole audience now they understand. I know kids, or have been around kids, or I know what snotty-nosed 2-year-olds look like, right? That kind of thing, it's so easy. So the shortest answer to this question is ask questions.
So I want to just address the large versus small part of that question. How do you engage a large audience over 500 or 1,000 or whatever versus a 30-person room? And for me, the difference is, so one thing I've coached a lot of women on is, when you take the stage, you got to take the stage. Like, you got to own the stage. And when you have more than 100 people in the room, and the bigger that room gets, the technology gets bigger too. So if you're ever in front of a 100 person, you could be in any classroom with a 100 person ballroom. But when it gets big, technology gets big. So you have to know what you are like on stage when you're magged up on big screens.
Oh my God. Like we had 30-foot screens in Australian,
which means the outer game is you dress for that. You get really comfortable with a mic for that. Done. Yeah, you get all those things. But you also don't play small on a big stage like that.
No.
You bring some energy to yourself, knowing that you're going to take that stage. And then when you walk into a room of 30, you probably don't need, or 10 or 15, you don't need a mic. And I don't act. And I mean, because I do performance in some of my stories. I don't perform them as much in a small group. And I'll choose some of the funny things that are big kind of acting kind of things. I will usually yank those and have more conversational tone. But the content doesn't change that much, just a few small things. And a big part of it is in your head.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we better get to.
Yep, sorry.
We're going to be.
See,
it's already 12:44. Yeah. So we're going to go over our 45-minute promise, but we'll try to go a little faster on these questions. Okay, but so this question about, like, how do you actually get booked? So you're interested in speaking and you want to get booked. You want to answer that? Let's give them one tip. Not every tip you have, just one.
Get really, really good. Get really good. Really work on this, whatever presentation it is you are So how do you get booked? You do as many. In fact, I have a few colleagues who have said anywhere between 50 to 200 free engagements. And no one wants to hear that. But that's the truth. You've got to be in front of people because 95+% of your bookings is coming from referral.
Yep.
So you want to be outstanding.
Yep. Say who needs a speaker, who needs a lunch and learn, who needs the chamber, like go to your
get
local,
in front of everybody you possibly can.
And be amazing.
We will teach you how to ask for money.
Start with, if you're not a speaker right now, like Linda said, you want to get booked, you begin with one signature talk. You can build more talks later. So I know you can talk on 10 things, but we're going to say start with one.
Yeah.
Get really good at one thing and then build out from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question around who'd want to listen to me? Well, hello, we know what that is. Inner game or outer game?
Inner game.
That's inner game stuff, right? So, we're going to help you look at that. And part of, we all will have moments, myself included, of self-doubt and think, oh my God, like, am I good enough? All that stuff that never really goes away. But one of the things that I'm going to say to you, if you're thinking, who would want to listen to me, is really honing your message. Because that tells me you don't have a clear message, because once you realize that it's actually not about you, it's about your message. And then suddenly that little voice that says, well, who do you think you are? It's like, no, it's not about me. It's about me wanting to share my message. So I would say, who'd want to listen to me? Change that and go with who needs to hear my message
today.
That's how I reframe that question. And then suddenly it's not about you. It's about your message. So we really would love you to be a part of this.
And whoever wrote that one down, I can't remember, just know that there's 3/4 more of the world that feels the exact same way.
Yeah. It's normal.
It's normal.
But we're going to make it about your audience, not you.
Yeah.
And that will really help quiet that voice.
Okay.
How do you simplify your message?
Ooh.
Well, Linda's a whiz at that.
Well, you bring simplify. You bring it down. I mean, we have, in a blueprint we will show you. Mm-hmm. You have an opening. You're making 2 or 3 points. That's it. It depends on how much time you've been given. If you've been given 15 minutes to speak, it's really small. It's really short. You open, you make a point, you close. If it's 30 minutes, it's so there's a process of how you make it simpler. And I'll be honest with you, we just start extracting stuff so quickly because you can. Well, I've learned.
Yeah,
fire hosing, too much content
is overwhelming to your audience.
Yeah.
So
their brain
if
shuts
you don't
off.
come to the academy with us, then what I would say to answer this question is make sure that you can say your one thing that you want your audience to get out of in 5 words or less. Like what's your one thing you want them to take away. And that becomes your building block.
Yep.
And if you can't, you're like, well, I want them to feel inspired and this. No. It's like, I want them to know that they, like for me, when I'm doing a relationship keynote, I'll say my one thing is you are the greatest influencer in your relationship. That's my one thing. That's my message. Now, how I get there, all my teaching points, my stories, that's more complicated, but that's how you simplify. Okay. What's your one thing?
The question around, were you known for specific topics
versus organic?
Well, my speaking career also grew organically because I was working for Participation at the time, which was the wellness, health and wellness and physical health organization that was federal government. And I got asked to speak at a wellness conference. Now, I also had a degree that supported that, but really, and worked in recreation. Mm-hmm. And I just went down that lane. And what we will encourage you to do if you're in the academy, and if you don't take the academy, choose a lane.
Yeah, pick a lane.
And choose a lane that you're super passionate about, that you're willing to go to school for, meaning that you will read, that you want to become the expert in. So it's got to be a topic that interests you.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I will say, because I think part of this question, if I remember it it was also around like, do you say this is what I speak on, or do you, is that when I get a request like, can you speak at this conference or whatever, I'll say, well, this is my most requested keynote. But what's your theme? And that way it allows you to personalize your topic. So if you say, well, I speak on wellness, or something generic, or I speak on whatever, resiliency, leadership, sort of the hot buzzwords of the day. And there's like, well, our theme is, around gratitude. And so you're like, well, that's great. Well, I could take my keynote on resiliency and move it into, how gratitude makes you more resilient or whatever. And so I would encourage you to, if you're wondering about that, speak on something, make it, pick your lane, but be willing to adapt it and personalize it for your audience.
Every audience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How do we marketing?
Yeah, I am a speaker. I don't even know what that.
Well, how do you market yourself? How do you market?
Oh, how do you let people know you're a speaker? Oh, perfect. That's why I would.
Well, I'm going to assume you have a website. If not, you're going to have to get a website.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just a landing page for now, that whether that's, I believe should be in your name, but it could be in your company name if you're currently have a small company or whatever. Mm-hmm. And let's say you have a website, like Beth had a website, has two websites now, but she had a website. I
didn't have my name for the longest time. And weird, BethHanishewski.com was available.
Yeah, weird. But I said to her when we first started working on her speaking engagements, you got to at least have a tab on your website for your coaching that says Beth Speaks.
Yeah.
So that people could go down that lane.
Like it was so hard for people to find that I could speak. Yeah, it was deep in my website.
So,
anyways, you have to let people know every way you can.
Whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook,
send out
Twitter,
emails to all your friends,
Instagram,
build a list, blog. Like we'll get into all of.
It is all of those things, but you need a landing page to tell people what it is you do.
You need at least even one page. Like my speaking site is one page that links off of my other main website, but like literally one landing page. Probably here, Trisha's on the call. She's a virtual. She could probably whip one up for you by tomorrow. So. Right?
Well, yeah, I've got my website has the same thing. I've got one page.
Exactly. So short answer, you got to let it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you call yourself a speaker if you haven't officially done a speaking engagement? Ooh, good question, Roberta. I think.
Well, so it's just.
I think you can. I don't think you can call yourself a professional speaker. I don't know. I feel like you can. I don't know. I think that you do need to earn the right to say that.
But you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. So call yourself a speaker. And if people say to you, where
they're going to ask you,
you can say, well, I'm just getting started actually. And that's where like things like negotiating fees and all that stuff will come into play because and a seasoned professional speaker commands more fee because they have the experience and expertise and credibility behind them. But I say, call yourself a speaker.
Yeah. And you know what? There are a lot of what we call aspiring speakers. There are a lot of them.
Tons.
And so I'm an aspiring speaker.
Yeah.
And I look forward to, and so you plan and you take the steps exactly the same way as one of us does. Mm-hmm. And, in the early days, I had 25 topics, which we're going to encourage you not to do at all. Yeah. And every time I spoke, I just kept adding. It just allows itself to unfold.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but if you've done retreats and small group work, you're totally a speaker.
I'm sorry.
You should say that if you join the academy, it's that some swearing is often involved. So we'll apologize for our.
I didn't say it. I said the.
We do love the odd expletive. So if that offends you, we're probably not the right coaches for you in this journey. But, anyways,
Answer.
Call yourself a speaker.
Yes.
And just get booked, whether it's fee or free. You're still speaking,
and all of that becomes part of your marketing package.
In fact, you could invite your friends over to your living room and give a talk. You're a speaker.
Yeah.
So yes, we've answered our question.
Again, not professional, but that's okay. We'll get there.
So a question on calming nerves.
Okay.
6 minutes. We're going to do more than 2 minutes for every.
In the middle of a presentation, because that was in your thing. In the middle of a presentation, if you feel like your nerves are coming up or you feel like you've lost your spot, which throws you off. Okay, that's part of the mind game.
And your voice getting constricted.
Right.
Or you feel like crying.
Feel your feet on the floor. Okay, breathing is critical.
Yeah.
But to get regrounded, literally feel your feet in your shoes on the floor, and that will center you again. Breathing before I go. Well, I have my own little routine. I share that also in the academy, but my pre-game show, so to speak. Yeah. I know how to breathe to calm down and I always have nerves.
Yeah.
I still have excitement.
Which I think is healthy because it shows you actually care. Nerves is different from paralyzing fear.
Yeah.
And I want to just say one thing about that. If you're really like freaking out, you're in the middle of your talk and you're just like, freaking out, give your audience something to do. So just say, hey, everybody, turn to the person next to you and talk about what you're going to do about this last point. Like, just give your audience something to do. So all of a sudden they're like, and in that moment where they're talking to each other,
you can check your notes, or
you get your poop together. Like, that's your time to just breathe, ground yourself, look at your talk, your outline,
take a sip of water,
and just calm the down. And then say, okay, thanks everybody. And then you're back. So that's one really quick way to save yourself in the middle of a talk, is get your people talking, so you can calm yourself down. Okay. Adding humor.
Last point. So adding humor is, well, it makes you extremely memorable. It also allows folks in the room to learn deeper, because they retain it, because they don't realize that they're actually learning while they're laughing.
Yes.
If you don't find yourself particularly naturally funny, we can work on how to end sentences that just have a little bit of a punch to them, that make them a bit funnier. And also there's lots of ways to add humor into slides. I mean,
slides is a fantastic one, right? Or video clips, or something like you can add humor from someone else. And I think humor is essential, because sometimes, especially new speakers that have like a, really deep story, like sometimes there's a few people in our academy that had some really like heartbreaking stories that they really wanted to talk and speak out loud, which was beautiful. But you would find that as you tell a really deep traumatic story, your audience is holding their breath. They're like, and you can feel the tension in the room, and you need something to release them. So in that way, you add a little humor, let them laugh, because even in the most dark moments, like I remember sitting in ICUs, waiting rooms, and there's humor.
There's humor everywhere,
happen, right? Even in the darkest hours. So we will, hopefully let us help you. But if you don't move on to the academy, then look for ways to release. Your message can be serious, but you don't have to be.
Yep.
Okay. So that's it. That's all your questions. Those were good questions.
Great questions.
And that's the kind of thing we do all the time on our weekly calls. We have a little bit of content. They're actually just like this. We teach a little content, and then we get you in there asking questions like this.
Yep.
So
laser coach.
Would you be willing to listen to, we do that to all of our students. Absolutely. We always give feedback and coaching
weekly.
To practice presentations. So that is definitely what we do. If you're thinking you want us to do that as a side, you could hire us for a private coaching session, I guess. But we would love for you to be just in this academy, and we'll help you along with listening to practice presentations.
Beth loves this slide.
Yeah. I got to see myself in it. Anybody else besides me overthink things, right? So maybe this is you right now. You're like, oh, should I join the academy? Should I not? Is it the right time? Is it the right time? Good investment? Am I gonna, get something out of this? We just say, don't overthink. You already know right now.
You can't.
Whether this is for you. So just trust your intuition. And like I said, if it's the money, then ask us for a payment plan, say, how can I spread this out so it's not so difficult for me to be a part of it.
We send the recording, and then we just continuously touch base on our private page.
So just be yes, be no, but don't be maybe.
Yeah, don't sit on the fence. Just make a decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we'll give you the link one more time just to show you.
Yep.
My dog is barking this entire time. Hopefully
I saw this morning on my Instagram. I said, one day you will tell your story of how you overcame what you're going through, and now it will become the part of someone else's survival guide. And that is the truth. When you're on stage and you have the ability to be truthful and authentic in an engaging, entertaining kind of way, it is pretty wild to watch the response from people that are in your audiences. I mean, you will hear things like, oh my God, you changed my life.
Yeah, like thank you for sharing your story. So I believe that, especially women, like our passion is like, let's get you heard. Sandy has a question about the Day of the Wow conference is April 25th.
25th.
Sandy said, if you miss 2 weeks, like, is it still a good time to join? I say yes, because even if you're out of the country, you might even be able to log on. Like there's some time where we're out of the country during our course, or on the road, and you just like, if you have a computer and a Wi-Fi, you can be a part of the call. Or if you can't be a part of it live, you can still be part of the Facebook group, because we have a group that's active every single day.
Yep.
So don't worry about it if you can't make Thursdays at noon. If you think this is for you, then join it. We forgot to tell you that we always want to give a bonus. We're already giving a discount, but for the first 3 people that register, there's actually already 5 people in the course, but from today, from this call, if you're one of the first 3, we're going to do a special coaching call with us, a little bonus call that you can jump on and ask your
laser coaching.
Just us, laser coaching. So April 25th. If there's any other questions,
and our workshop will be April 24th, the day before, at Sparkling Hills. And if you've not been to Sparkling Hills, join us just for that.
Yeah, just come for the spa. Gosh, it's so fun.
I know we're over time. We hope you say yes. That's us actually at Sparkling Hills speaking.
That's us.
Yeah.
Doing our thing. They're pretty much like this. Okay, let's end like this. Okay. We hope you say yes.
We hope you say yes.
Thanks for hanging in there for the hour.
Thank you for your time.
And let us know if we can.
We're lots of fun. Well, if it's not fun, we're not doing it. So we love to have fun.
Yeah, if you want to learn and have fun and get your speaking off the ground, we hope you'll
join us. Okay.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks again.